name is Erica. I grew up in the DMV. I am a 2019 graduate from Towson University with a degree in psychology. And currently I'm working as a one-on-one applied behavior analyst in an all special ed school, where I just work one-on-one with kids on the autism spectrum.
Why is it important that we understand how our ballot affects education?
Education is not only important for our economy, but education is also important for our students and their future. They learn so many things when they can get an education. They learn how to deal with other people, they learn time management, they learn how to be a leader. There are just so many important things that you get from an education that you really can't get anywhere else. So it's super important for students to be able to rely on their education and get a good education.
What are the top 4 positions on our ballot that will affect education in our communities?
So starting from the top with the executive board, we have the Department of Education. They're the ones who establish policy for the education system. They collect data and they use that to decide whether our education system is going well, going poorly, what changes need to be made. And then they also will take this data sometimes and go to other countries and compare, contrast, figure out what's working with them. And they also enforce federal education laws in regards to privacy and civil rights. So think of FERPA, think of Title IX, Brown v. Board, all of those things that have been developed to sort of keep your kids safe is what they enforce. From there, you have Congress. So Congress is the one who actually creates the legislation that affects education. They're the ones who created No Child Left Behind, different legislations like that can be used to promote equal opportunity, to set goals and keep score, and make sure that you create overarching sort of standard for every person, every school to be able to set to. And then they also help to invest in education as well. From there, you have the governor, the state governor. So they're responsible for turning the bills into laws. So when Congress passes a bill, they will give it to the governor, and the governor is how will this look in my state? Do I like this? Do I not like this? And then from there, depending on what they decide, they can either sign the bill, veto the bill, or refuse to do both. So they also can influence the legislative branch. So if Congress is passing a law, they can go out to Congress and be hey, so this is not what's going on with my state. This won't really affect me too much. I need something that'll actually affect this. They can also create state legislation just for themselves and pass that through their state legislators to sort of try to get better education laws for themselves. So then, district-wise, you have the Board of Education. So they're the ones who do a lot of the super cool, nitty-gritty stuff. So they elect a superintendent. They oversee and manage the public district affairs, the personnel, and the properties. Just oversee how the district schools are going. They're seeing if everything's going okay. Are they keeping clean? Is everything looking okay? Is everything up to a good standard? They also help define policy and develop long-term plans. This is also how they try to influence state and federal laws and regulations, because they go to the governor and they go to Congress and they establish budgets, and they're the ones who choose the transportation systems for the schools. So those would be my top 4. So Board of Education, Governor, Congress, and Department of Education.
Can you quickly explain the No Child Left Behind Act?
Yeah, okay, so the No Child Left Behind Act originally designed to improve educational equity for low-income students. In 1994, they had a reauthorization, which set the standards for accountability for the states and districts for how they can allocate money so that they could sort of actually improve equity for those low-income students. And so usually since the law started, every 5 years there's another reauthorization. But after 2002, it took about a decade to create a reauthorization. So the Department of Education took it on themselves and created the No Child Left Behind flexibility that came with additional policy requirements. So with that, the whole country had to meet this certain standard that the executive branch decided. And in some ways it was good, but the way in which that they did it was through standardized testing. And standardized testing is very one-dimensional. It's only really looking at their academic smarts and how good they are at math or reading. But what about the students that are good in art or good at music? Their set standard wasn't well-rounded and didn't give kids a way to really show what they learned in school and how their education has been affecting them. In 2015, Congress passed the Every Student Succeeds Act, which gave the power back to the states and made sure that the states were the ones who created the standard was for the schools. Because in the end, you can't judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree. You need to judge a fish for how well it can swim. And all they were judging were, how can that fish climb a tree?
Why is it important that all children have equitable access to education?
Not only has it been proven that education is important for our economy, in the sense that the more people we have to pull from our talent pool, the more our economy will flourish. The more talent we have, the better our economy will be. But also, let's look at the students. Let's look at what they learn from school. They learn how to be a leader. They learn time management. They learn how to get along with others. They learn so many important things that you can't get from anywhere else, but in that controlled educational setting. It gives them a place to mess up and to be able to learn from their mistakes and not feel too pressured or upset. And everybody deserves to feel that way. Everybody deserves to learn those things. And it helps us, it helps them. And equitable education is just better for everybody involved.
What will you be voting for November 3rd?
I am voting for all of my friends and family that are going to be affected by what happens in this election. I'm voting for all the people who deserve a voice in this country that they live in, and I'm voting for a good education.